taken out of our curriculum. And I'm wondering, for a people, if we do not know our history, how can we move ahead? What's your take on this and the role of history in our lives?
Well, for me, I think I'm always sentimental when it comes to the issue of history. I recall in my secondary school, I was the best student in history because I had a distinction in history in my secondary school. And I was shocked, when I came to understand that history is now not part of the curriculum of secondary schools. I have never seen any disaster like that, because if you call all these young people now to even tell you the governors of Nigeria, they don't know. The ministers, they don't know. In fact, what will shock you is you go to some offices now, people don't have, information about their predecessors in office. Who was there before them? They don't care. Or what has that person accomplished? So that at least you borrow or you build on what your predecessor has done, because at least somebody must have been there before you. At least there must be something that he had done, for you to learn or build on. So that one is no longer there anymore. So this is the disaster that has befallen, our country. And all this, if you don't know yesterday, there is no way you can exactly or define the future. So it is really, a disaster, to remove history from curriculum of schools.
Now, I know that the institution, the throne of your fathers that you're presently sitting on, comes with its own special and unique requirements. And I'm wondering now, before you came on the throne, your immediate family, children, your wife were all easily accessible to you. I'm just wondering, how accessible are they to you now that you're not just theirs alone, but you're the father of all?
Yeah, well, I have a very small family because some are grown up already. They are not under close supervision like, my youngest child is in Form 3. So she's 13. So I don't have little children, that I can say I'm missing, them, but so I think I have only 5 children, a boy and 4 girls. So 2 are out of the university, 2 are in the university, and then 1 in secondary school. So I have only 1 wife.
And they all have easy access to you as they did before?
Yes. Only that by our upbringing, even when my father was around, when I was growing up as a child, there are some protocols that we always follow when it comes to the issue of reaching out to your immediate family members. You can't just bump into your father. And I recall when I was growing up as a child, if you are a guest of my dad, if you pass into the inner house like this, he will not come out until that guest leaves. Yes. So we have those protocols even before now. So and our children are very much at home with that. So we were used to all the
That way
protocol.
of life.
Yes. So the issue of like, for the older children, yes, they're all grown-ups, and so I think they don't need any attention.
Close supervision like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
I have been speaking with His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zauzau, Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamli. He's told us about his family, his way of life now. Maybe we should get to meet a few members of the family to actually find out how it is relating to him now that he's the Emir as against when he wasn't before he took up the throne of his fathers. Let's get to meet a few family members.
Well, His Highness has been a very good brother to us, and not only a brother, a father, since when he was small. Because we were all little, then I can remember when he always advised us, he preached us that we should try to study well, and also, respect one another among the family, and also, whenever we have issues like that relates to maybe our school, the family issue, we run to him for counseling. So I think he has ever been a very good person to us. A very gentle person, and also not only gentle, he is highly disciplined to a fault. So whoever is to go close to him must have the same mindset. So you can understand how he operates, he relates with people because of how he was brought up. And this is the same way all of us were brought up in the family. I know he's somebody that has the capacity to lead people, because that has shown during his early days. So it's a man of his words. He has the integrity, and above all, is somebody that will bring progress to the town and Kaduna State in general.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. It's been a pleasure speaking with you and you allowing us into your palace here. And we wish you the very best of luck in all your endeavors in administering your people and ensuring that Nigeria gets to the greatest height possible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Indeed, there is nothing we can do as a people if we do not know our history and if we do not respect our traditional institutions. This is one institution that has seen so much in life and it has a lot of history behind it. I have been speaking on Executive Discuss with His Royal Highness Ahmed Nuhu Bamli, the Emir of Zauzau, the 19th Emir of Zauzau, and we've spoken extensively. Remember, Executive Discuss is a program that celebrates trailblazers, and what more can you ask from us? But to please stay with us week in, week out, where we'll be unveiling this kind of individuals on a weekly basis. Till we meet again same time next week, I remain Ololade Adinijadeli, and just as His Royal Highness said, there is so much to look forward to in Nigeria. The future is indeed very bright for us. So please, play your role and contribute your own quota. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Cultural products, which have helped to sustain virtually every economy in the world, can be divided into cash crops, produced primarily for export, and food crops, produced for local consumption and for sale in the market when there is surplus. Some of the principal cash crops include oil palm, rubber, walnuts, and cocoa. Cocoa is believed to have originated in the hot, humid region near the source of the river Amazon in South America. Cocoa is a beverage crop used in the preparation of many fruit drinks. The fruit is called cocoa pod.
When you are planting the cocoa through seeds, it has to pass through the nursery stage. You can have the nursery beds, and you can also have the polythene bags. You harvest it when it is well ripe. That is, it's not overripe, it's not underripe. You harvest it when it's, and it doesn't have dormancy period. And so, as soon as you harvest and extract the seeds, it goes into the nursery.
Cocoa is a tropical lowland crop. It grows best where the annual rainfall is at least 1,140 millimeters and where the mean temperature never falls below 17 degrees Celsius. It cannot grow where there is a long dry season. Cocoa needs shade to reduce moisture evaporation, especially in the early stages of establishment in the field. It needs a deep, fertile and well-aerated loamy soil, which must be loose and friable. The soil must be equally be able to retain moisture during dry season.
The soils that favor cocoa mostly are rich, dark, loamy soil, which we have in the states, and alluvial soil. Alluvial soil like we have in Ibiano, we have in the local government area, we have in Sireta, we have in Ikono, some parts. We also have in Obodokara, and these soils also are favorable to other tree crops, not only cocoa, oil palm, coconuts, even sometimes rubber and cashew. So that's why we have advantage in growing cocoa, and because of the good soil we have and the good climatic conditions.
The cocoa plant, when mature, reaches a height of 7.5 to 10 meters. It has a straight main trunk. Its leaves are dark green when they are mature and flowers profusely on clusters. The fruits called pods are green or red and ripen to a yellow or orange color. A good pod contains on the average 20 to 40 seeds, which are called beans. There are different varieties of cocoa, and each has features and characteristics that distinguishes it from the other. Some of these varieties include Amelonado, Upper Amazon, Trinitario, Criollo, and hybrids. Of all these, hybrids, which are produced by cross-pollination between the different varieties, are the most preferred by farmers because they perform better than other varieties even when attacked by diseases such as black pod or swollen shoot. Cocoa trees can be grown from seeds or vegetatively by budding system and stem cutting. Vegetatively propagated seeds can be found in government farms or research stations. Seeds for planting are taken from ripe, healthy pods, which are broken by knocking them together or on the tree trunk. The seeds are planted usually between October and January in a nursery. They are planted in rich loamy soil containing organic matter used to fill up polythene bags. Seeds are sown in the polythene bags, one per bag. These are kept under the shade or interwoven palm leaves or tall forest trees to prevent direct heat by the sun. They are then watered twice daily, morning and evening.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
Cocoa seedlings are transplanted to the field as from April during the rainy season, that is, 5 to 6 months after planting in the nursery. The seedlings are carefully removed from the polythene bags with a ball of earth and are placed in the hole, which is about 45 centimeters deep. The hole is covered gently and firmly round the seedling. Some crops like banana, plantain, cocoyam are allowed to grow alongside cocoa seedlings to provide a temporary shade.
It can be done this way. You have your secondary bush fallow. You just get the lines of which you want to plant. You trace the lines, cut around, so the adjacent bush becomes a shade for the young seedlings until they are fully established. There are also some plants that can be used to provide a shade. Plantain. You see, it's also an economic crop. Basically, it is plantain that is recommended so that they can grow under plantain shades. And before you know it, they have grown and formed canopy.
In order to achieve maximum yield, adequate weeding must be maintained, especially within the first 4 years of its growth in the field. Weeding also helps to control black pod disease by reducing the humidity within the plantation. Mulching is also done in the field to ensure maximum yield, as it helps to reduce the rate of water evaporation from the soil, prevents weeds and add nutrients to the soil, and acts as an anti-erosion measure during rains. Cocoa, like any other crop, is susceptible to diseases. One major disease of cocoa is black pod disease. It is caused by a fungus and can be eliminated by removing and destroying infected pods, as well as spraying with fungicides. Another disease of cocoa is swollen shoot disease. It is caused by a virus which is transmitted by mealybugs. It can be controlled by destroying and burning infected plants.
Some form of insect attack and disease like black pod mainly is a common disease of cocoa, and that declines cocoa production in the state. So they say government assist them by giving them agrochemicals like Vidomil, Gold, 500 WP, vegetable powder, and Atara is an insecticide that we use for cocoa, very effective. And we also gave them NASA sprayers and boots, so that coveralls, so that they can also use to enter into their farm.
One of the most challenges that we have is road network. You know, where you are planting this cocoa is in the swamp mostly. And most of these areas, the roads are not being opened as much.
Cocoa trees begin to bear pods regularly 3 to 5 years after being transplanted to the field. Most pods are produced on the main stems and the higher branches. They become ripe 5 to 6 months after the flowers are pollinated and fertilized. Most of the pods are harvested between August and January. Each pod contains 20 to 40 seeds or beans.
This one is not good for planting, and it's not good, it didn't have much weight for drying. If this one dry, one bag, it can be full bag, it won't be up to 65 kg because you not have any other weight again. So it's not good to ripe like this. This one is very, very okay. When cocoa started to ripe, you can plot it, and the cocoa will be having a very good weight.
When you harvest the cocoa that overripe, the weight of the seed will be very low, and that also will decline the income you get. But when you harvest it, like the one I'm holding, which is very good, the weight of the cocoa beans will be very high, and that will bring income to the farmers. And that also help a lot of youth now to go into that cocoa production.
Cocoa farming and production are big global businesses that require huge financial commitment and long-term investment, which sometimes discourage farmers who may want to invest in it. Having identified this, the Akwa Ibom State government has invested massively in cocoa cultivation and production in government and privately owned farms, and has equally encouraged cocoa farmers in some ways such as training, provision of farm inputs, procurement and distribution of fertilizer at subsidized cost, provision of non-interest loans and grants, among others.
The government of Akwa Ibom State has done a lot in order to, subsidize so many things for farmers. Given interest-free loans to over 2,000 vegetable farmers, over 2,000 cassava farmers, and over 1,500 maize farmers. In agriculture, of course, we know it is the input that creates the output. So we don't joke, the government does not joke with supporting the farmers because there are some farmers who may be willing to cultivate more hectares, but they don't have the money, they don't have the financial assistance to do so. And in Akwa Ibom State, we don't joke with that. Even the tractors that the state government bought for farmers through this ministry, we are sending the tractor operators to clear the land for farmers and so on. So we don't joke with this because we know when we support them either financially or in terms of inputs, that will really boost agri-production in the state.
The state government has done a lot to cocoa farmers because before then, most of our cocoa farms plantation had been abandoned by farmers. So when he came on board, he assisted farmers. We went into the field, reactivated most of the plantations and bring them to a standard. We have distributed over 500,000 of seedlings to farmers. We have assisted farmers with farm inputs. We have distributed fertilizers free of charge, agrochemicals free of charge. We recorded 800 to 900 kilograms. And we are hoping by the end of 2020, we are going to have 1 metric tons per hectare.
That the government of Akwa Ibom State is producing seedlings for farmers at a yearly basis, and this also increase our productivity. So it has been so good for the past few years. As they are talking of hardship, is not much here in it because every household has one cocoa or the other.
Another area that the state government has equally boosted the cultivation and production of cocoa for maximum output is the establishment of community cocoa plantation scheme in all the 31 local government areas of the state, where improved cocoa varieties that are planted in state government-owned cocoa nurseries are given free to farmers for transplanting in the fields.
Recently, we flagged up the distribution of over 500,000 seedlings of cocoa that we gave to cocoa farmers free of charge. The government is also encouraging our farmers to cultivate this across the local government areas, and we provide the seeds for them.
The cocoa is one of the produce that produce money for our local people, our farmers. We make our income, our living from cocoa.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
There is no doubt that fermentation and drying of cocoa beans are essential to making the product obtain the desired quality and chocolate flavor. In this regard, the state government has established a cocoa fermentation and drying plant at Ananamon in a local government area to respond to the need of making fermented and dry cocoa beans produced in the country meet international standards.
Akwa Ibom said is blessed with the best quality of cocoa in this country. The government has commissioned a cocoa fermentation and drying center so that these cocoa farmers, when they harvest, they can go ferment their cocoa and also dry them. And there is also a warehouse so that even if they don't want to sell their cocoa immediately, they can of course keep in the warehouse. And the people there, they've also trained some of the youths in using these cocoa pods to produce soap and so on.
The state government wants our farmers to produce premium cocoa beans. That is why he has established a fermentation plant and drying plant at Itumbonuso. For the quality of cocoa beans, I think Akwa Ibom State has the best, #1 in the whole country, because the fermentation plant that His Excellency has established in the state gives out the best cocoa beans that meet up the international market.
If you don't follow the process, you miss the point. Without having a drying center, without having a place you fumigate your cocoa and dry, you miss the point. Because if you put it on the asphalt, on the tar road, sand will come in, and thereby becoming bad for the cocoa. It will hinder the price of the cocoa, and people that want to buy will reduce the cost of the cocoa, and that is not good for the cocoa manufacturers. They don't like that. So His Excellency has put up a warehouse for us, a drying center, that immediately you cultivate your cocoa up to the finished product, they will be able to package the cocoa, dry it, fumigate it, and then back it. And that helps us a lot. And for you to export your product, you must back it and must have a label, must have the destination. If somebody tells the flavor of your cocoa, the person must look at that flavor and know where the cocoa is coming from. So it's a good fit that His Excellency the Governor decided to give us a drying center so that we can be able to back our own.
After extracting the seed, it will have to be fermented. This is another important area. In fact, the way you ferment it can either make or mar the exercise. For example, the flavor is developed during fermentation. Most of the access qualities will be developed during fermentation, whether it has fermented well or not. The drying further adds to the quality of the beans, because when it is properly dried, the cocoa nibs, the cotyledon, is the most valued part of these cocoa beans, and drying will determine whether the quality in the international market, even in the domestic market, will be acceptable or not. When it is properly dried, it is now packed in the jute bags, and then you store it in the warehouse. Store it in the manner. The drying and the storage are very critical factors in the final quality of the cocoa beans.
Cocoa farming and production are major employers of labor, as they create employment to different categories of people.
Yeah, of course. When we were having this Fadama guys, that the World Bank collaborated with the federal government and the state government, we trained a number of youths in Akwa Ibom State, and after the training, the financial assistance that the World Bank gave was not even enough. So the state governor gave each of the youths 300,000 naira to add to what was given to them in order to expand their business.
It has helped to take off unemployment, at least within this locality. In this town, we have over 25 workers here that are earning some money from us. It has taken them off some social problems that they would have run into.
This has involved a lot of youth. The youth that has been so restive in their action are now involved in cocoa production. They are now inside the farm. You don't see them again. He has the intention of giving them employment. He prevents them all from troublemaking, restiveness. They are now making money from the farm, and they say they need to be in the farm.
Cocoa is a major foreign earner to the country, as the bulk of cocoa production is exported. The main products of cocoa beans include cocoa drink, chocolate, and chocolate candies. Cocoa drink contains important quantities of fat, carbohydrate, protein, and other nutrients.
So when you are taking the cocoa beans, you know that you cannot have cancer from it. We have been produced into various products. We have the cocoa powder, so you have the chocolate, we have the cocoa butter. So as an antioxidant, it is consumed and found to be healthy to the body.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export accounts for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
beans is also used in the production of local gin, and the pod is a basic ingredient in the production of soap.
Cocoa is one of the most important products that any nation should have, and you can use it for several things.
Here in Akwa Ibom State, there is a farm called Fika Farms. They are into the production of wine from cocoa. The cocoa pod is used as livestock feed and manure. It is a source of theobromine, and the shell, fat and vitamin D are also cotton cocoa plant.
You see this empty cocoa pot?
Yes.
It is also money. You use this one and make cocoa soup. It's very, very good for cocoa soup. And if you cannot use it to make cocoa soup, it's also very, very good for fertilizer. After this thing has been germinated, you pack it in your cocoa stand like this. You pack it all the empty pot, you pack it like this, and that thing will germinate and become a very rich in fertilizer. After breaking the cocoa, we put it on top of these things. We put basin under. Then the water will be ringage. When the water of cocoa ringage, we use this water and cook this hot drink. We use cocoa water and cook this hot drink. And this is original cocoa drink. This is original cocoa hot drink. And it's very, very tasty. Very rich in vitamins. This is cocoa drink. Original. Pure cocoa. It is cocoa for you.
Cocoa farming and production are good investments. Be part of it and reap bountifully.
There is an epidemic affecting individuals in every community, regardless of age, economic status, gender, race, religion, or nationality. It is called domestic violence. It can take a number of forms, including physical, verbal, emotional, economic, religious, or sexual abuse. The ultimate aim of domestic violence is to gain and maintain total control over its victim. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It happens among people of all ages, ethnic background, and economic levels. While women are more commonly victimized, men are also abused, especially verbally and emotionally, although sometimes even physically as well. Unfortunately, domestic violence is among the most underreported crimes worldwide for both men and women. An abuser doesn't play fair. He or she uses fear, guilt, shame, and intimidation to wear down his or her victims and keep them perpetually under his or her control. Abusers may often seem wonderful and perfect initially, but gradually become more aggressive and controlling as the relationship continues. Here are some signs of abusive tendencies: showing jealousy of the victim's family and friends, accusing victim of cheating, controlling who the victim sees, where they go, or what they do, preventing the victim from making his or her own decision, intimidating the victim with guns, knives, or other weapons, Noticing and acknowledging the signs of an abusive relationship is the first step to ending it. Therefore, abusive behavior is never acceptable, whether it is coming from a man or a woman, a teenager or an older adult. We all deserve to be valued, respected, and safe.
This is the network service of the NTA.
I just told you something now. I would have thought I would have been excited about it.
About what part? Sunday's progress or the new pastor?
Oh!
Is it pastor that you are going to church to look for, or is it God?
Hey, Ifeoma.
Mr. Wonderful. Wonder. His name is Mr. Wonderful.
Fine girl, calm down. Stop this thing. You go change shirt now.
Until he pay me my money for
now.
Leave my shirt on. Wait. I don't want you all. Wait, auntie. Wait now. What did happen, Seth?
She say he and this man agree for a short time. Now the man change his mind, come hard more time. Now to pay money, story don't enter.
Wait now. You won't fight